Hey, what's up? This is Dawnna St. Louis here. I am all checked into my hotel in downtown Denver. Getting ready to go and speak for the city and county government of Denver, and just walking through. Actually, you know what? I'll do a quick walkthrough with you guys since I just got here. So I'm staying at Homewood Suites this weekend, I think for the whole weekend. And this is the spot. It's actually kind of a cute spot. Has some cuteness, kind of cuteness going on. I like the whole kitchen deal. I really do. I always like a room that has a kitchen, even if I'm not going to use it. And then, of course, there are the favorites. My fuzzy slippers. I love these slippers. Anyway, what's up, everyone? How are you guys doing? I am all checked in and ready to go, and I have got some questions. Hey, Michael, how are you? So, people have been asking me, I think I accidentally turned my, did I turn my thing? Let me see, hold on. I made magic happen. Is this straight or is this straight? Am I sideways or am I straight? I don't know. I think I screwed it up. My phone is angry at me. Hold on. Let me see, I think I screwed it up. I don't know what I did to it, but I broke it. It keeps telling me to rotate my phone. Okay. How about here? Am I straight now? Am I sideways or am I straight? I don't know. It said it flipped on me, so we'll see. Go sideways? That's my view. Okay, I'm straight now. Okay, cool. Thank you very much, John. I appreciate it. So, anyway, I'm in downtown Denver, and so I got this question that came up, and people were asking me. First, I think some people thought I had lost my mind of doing this whole business in a box. This is really only for people who want to be speakers. What's up, Alvin? This is only for people who want to be professional speakers. They really are tired of, quite honestly, what I was tired of when I first started. I was tired of all the BS, right? People coming on, acting like they had all the answers, and they really didn't. And so if you've been through this, because this is what I went through. So the first thing that I went through was getting everybody telling me to do the same thing. Oh, you have to do marketing. You have to do marketing. It's your marketing. The reason that you're not making money as a speaker is because you're marketing. And so what I do, I spend thousands of dollars on someone to teach me how to do marketing, and it wasn't that. Then it was, oh, it must be your positioning. And so I spent thousands of dollars on someone helping me with positioning. It wasn't that. And then it was my target market. And then it was, and what kept happening was I kept getting all these little pieces to the puzzle, right? And it wasn't until, quite honestly, I went back to my own stuff, because I had already built a business. It wasn't until I took a step backwards, and I literally stopped everything. I just brought it to a halt. And I went back and I looked at my own stuff, because this to me was stupid that I was struggling. It was ridiculous to me that I was struggling, because I had already built a very successful business intelligence company. It made no sense to me why I could not build a very successful speaking business. It couldn't be rocket science. And so after spending, thousands of dollars talking to experts that were going to help me speak or help me start a speaking business, I realized that none of them had a methodology. They didn't have a formula. They didn't have a start here, then do this, then do this, then do this. They didn't have that, right? So a lot of times, hey Lisa, how are you doing? So a lot of times what I found was that, hey Mark, what I found was that I was doing all of this stuff, and I was gathering all these puzzle pieces, and I was following all of these ideas, and I was doing all this stuff, and then it just didn't work. Right? None of it worked. And the reason none of it worked wasn't because that those experts were wrong. It was because those experts didn't have a system to get me from, I have no damn idea what I'm doing, to making a whole bunch of money. Like, there was no in between, right? It was, here's a bunch of stuff, here's a bunch of stuff, here's a bunch of stuff, here's a bunch of stuff. And then I would take all that stuff, and it was like, it's literally like giving you a bunch of blank puzzle pieces that have no edges and telling you to go figure out the puzzle. That's what it felt like. So I was very confused for a very long time because I had all these blank puzzle pieces, but I had no way of putting them together. And quite honestly, the people that I was speaking to, I don't think they really knew how to put them together. And so over the years, I have worked with lots of people that wanted to do more than just be a speaker. They wanted to have a business. And so I'll use, for example, I was just talking to Kate Delaney yesterday, right? Exactly. They need the lessons. I love that, Lisa. The lessons need to be organized into actionable steps. Exactly. And so I had to go back and I had to actually look at my own blueprint that I used for my business intelligence company and my consulting company. And I started using that. And that helped me. That got me on stages where I'm speaking in Egypt. I've spoken in Egypt. I've spoken in London. I've spoken in Bangkok. I've spoken all around the world because I literally went back. I got my own blueprint and I was like, no shit, eat your own dog food. And I started applying that. And why did it work? Because it was organized into actionable steps that I needed to take. And you know what? It didn't start with marketing. That's the mistake. We think it starts with marketing and setting up our which, by the way, just in case you're totally confused right now, marketing includes your website, marketing includes your demo video, marketing includes the crap you do on social media, marketing includes the emails you send out. That's all marketing. And most people will tell you to start there, and that's wrong. Do not start there. And by the way, I cannot tell you how many people that I've spoken to that have said, Dawnna, I was literally going door to door selling my services, not knowing exactly what I was selling. I remember doing that. I remember totally screwing this up. And so how did I turn it around? And how have I helped others turn it around? That's what I'm going to share with you. So I was just talking to Kate Delaney. I love Kate Delaney. I'm going to make sure I give her a shout out on this. I was talking to Kate Delaney 2 days ago, and she told me something that I didn't know. So I went to see Kate probably about 18 months ago. I stayed over. And Kate told me 18 months ago, we're sitting in her place, and she told me that 18 months ago, I think it was about that time that she goes, I was almost ready to quit speaking. And she goes, and I was successful. She was successful. She had this kick-ass radio show. She's still on the radio. I mean, not like a podcast or a BS radio show, like it's like NBC radio. Like she has a radio show with hundreds of thousands of listeners, a syndicated radio show. And here she is on this radio show. She's killing it. She's won an Emmy. She has like a statue. She's won an Emmy, okay? And here it is hey, what's up, Jurassic? So here it is she has won this amazing thing and she can't get speaking engagements. So it's not even about your resume. How many of you have heard that crap? Hey, Jessica, that it's about your resume, that your resume has to be stacked. How many speaking engagements have you done? She had a freaking resume, right? So here it is that she has a resume, and yet and still she wasn't getting speaking engagements. And so what happened was so she was sitting there talking, and she does her radio show that night, and it's like, I'm not kidding you, it had to be like 10 or 11 o'clock at night because she does a late night radio show. And I look at her and I'm like, she said something about not knowing what her speaking expertise was. And I looked at her, I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And we went boom, 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 boom. And I here's your expertise. Here's your focus. Here's your target market. Here's exactly who you should be speaking to. Write that down. Here's even your model. Let's do some of your marketing. Let's look at your copy. Let's see who you're reaching out to. What are you going to say to them? Why do they want your stuff? Okay, now that we have that, let's talk about what your website looks like. I looked at her website. I was like, no, this is all wrong. No. I mean, but I took her through very specific actionable steps. That was 18 months ago. Kate's number one problem right now is that she had entirely too much business. She followed exactly what I told her to do, and she had entirely too much business. She said, Dawnna, I went up 40% within 3 months. She goes, my business has exploded exponentially since then. But why did it work for her so quickly? I'm going to tell you why. Number one, I was following a blueprint. I wasn't just pulling something out of the air and throwing it at her. I was literally telling her, this piece of the puzzle connects to this piece of the puzzle, that connects to this piece of the puzzle, that connects to this piece of the puzzle. And by the way, you shouldn't even be touching this piece of the puzzle if these 3 pieces aren't in place yet. Who tells you that? That's number one. Here's the big number two. She then did the work. Here's the big number three. When she did the work, she tested what worked, and then she came back and she said, I tried that. This one worked, this one didn't. Don't do this one, do 2 more of these. And that worked. I have a formula, and she followed the formula, and now she's successful. She thought that she could just take her expertise and go out there and people are going to throw money from her. Right? Exactly, right? Why reinvent the wheel? Right? Michael, you do drink the Kool-Aid. Like you're like seriously. Listen, my friend Jeff Rand is going to be speaking on the main stage at NSA, and he will tell you, and I'm not saying this out of turn at all, he will tell you that sitting down and following the blueprint took him from where Kate was, I'm going to quit, this is bullshit, it's not working, to I'm doing 80 engagements a year, oh my God. Right? Because that's where you want to get to. Okay, so how does that get me where I am right now? I got frustrated. I got frustrated with so many speakers and people who wanted to be speakers. I got frustrated for 2 reasons. The first reason is that people were coming to me saying, I spent tens of thousands of dollars and I'm still in the same place that I started. Yeah, I'm much smarter with marketing, but I'm still ain't making no money. Okay. So that's number one. And then my second frustration was I would spend hours helping people, give them the advice like I had given Kay or like I had given other people that made things successful, give them the advice, tell them exactly what to do, and then they go and they kick their feet up and they don't do shit with it. So they totally wasted my time. They wasted my expertise. I'm like, dude, do you know how many other people would have taken that expertise and ran with it? And you did what? Right? So that's the frustrating part. So how do you go from 0 to having what I call now a business in the box? And let me tell you, I got calls, and I'm not kidding you. I got phone calls. People going, number one, you can't do that. And number 2, you can't do it for that amount. And number 3, you're cutting other people out of the business. Up your game. You can be mad. I don't care. Haters can up your game, because you know what? I am tired of people getting, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you how real that I am. So I went and started literally an academy for speakers, and it's not just a bullshit academy. It is literally a turnkey business in a box. And the reason I can say that is because you walk out with your book, all you got to do is get it edited, because it's part of your homework, and you can't graduate without it done. And if you don't want to do a book, we do have an alternate, like if you want to do videos, but you got to leave with a product with your expertise and methodology in it. We teach you how to create your methodology so that you have thought leadership in your area. You can't graduate without it. Here's another part. You get your demo video. You get your keynote speech. You do the work for your demo video, but that's included. Your keynote speech, we help you write a keynote speech and teach you how to deliver, because that's included. We do all of these things because we don't, listen, there is nothing to me more sad than to see someone who is an amazing talent. There he is, my boy Jeff. Here you go. I was just talking about you, Jeff, the other day. I was just telling Kate Delaney that you are, and I will say this to anyone, guys, I'm a good speaker. I get on stage and it's just boom. Jeff Ram gets on stage and he is by far the best speaker I've ever seen on the platform. Ever seen. He is the best storytelling speaker with an amazing gift for humor and stage theatrics that's just over the top. He is amazing. And so I'm going to use Jeff. For someone, oh my God, Michael, you said it perfectly. He is made not only to listen, he is made to experience. Oh my God, he's so good. I cannot tell you what a loss it would have been to the thousands of people on this planet had Jeff not found his mojo, his thing that not only took that amazing talent that he had and turned it into money. That's what I'm talking about. How do you make that happen? That's why I started Jumpstart. That's why I started Biz on Fire. Jessica just put up the link. That's why I started it, because I find it absolutely heart-wrenching that people can have a talent, a freaking talent. Like, Jeff is talented as shit. He is so talented. I mean, go to his website, go to jeffram.com, look at his videos. This is not me pulling this out of my butt. The guy is talented. But the problem is that when Jeff and I met, he was good, but his content wasn't good enough for Jeff. It just wasn't. But then I saw on his website, I'm like, dude, that's your stuff. You should only ever talk about that. Ever. That's it. He is amazing. But let me tell you, when you bring your perfect content together with your ability to deliver an experience, you're no longer a speaker. You are a masterpiece on stage. You are your shit. When I get on stage and I'm talking about my stuff, people could go and they could take your stuff and they could duplicate what you're talking about. They can never duplicate me. Nobody can duplicate Jeff's celebrity service. I don't care how many times people try to, they will never be able to duplicate it because it is innately his. He is part of the reason that I created Jumpstart. He's part of the reason that I created Biz on Fire. Kate Delaney is part of the reason that I did that. There are talented people out there. They're spending money on bullshit, and quite honestly, you're not getting your ROI. So how do I give your ROI? This is how I do it. You can't graduate unless you close the deals that actually pay for your tuition. Tell me somebody else who does that. Tell me someone else who is going to stick with you every week for 6 months until you actually make your money that you spend in their program. Because that's how serious I am. Tell me who else is going to not only stick with you, but tell you, listen, we got you. You do a lump payment on the beginning, you do small monthly payments in the middle, you do a lump payment at the end. Period. That's it. But that lump payment at the end, you know why we do that? We do that lump payment at the end because at the end of the day, we're going to teach you how to make that money before you graduate. So you're going to make that lump payment like, here, you want some extra, you're going to make it rain. Yes, Biz on Fire helps you find your expertise. That's where we start. What's your expertise? We actually have an expertise definition a process that you go through that helps you find your expertise. I'll use my boy Dre. If you get a chance, check out Dre All Day, DREALLDAY, Dre All Day. Check out Dre All Day. So Dre has, ready for this? Now he is my colleague. We're in the same accountability group together. When I met him, however, he wanted to be a speaker. He was not yet. Dre has 6,000 videos on YouTube. He has, ready for this? Over 40, let me get the number right. I think he has over 40 million views on YouTube, some crazy number like that. He has over 100,000 followers. So if anybody has a platform, he got a platform. This man has put up a video a day every day. And he's a former professional basketball player overseas. His challenge, however, was that he had no idea what his expertise was. He was very much like Kate. I got Emmys, I got awards, I've done the thing, I've traveled all over the world, I've played basketball, I got 100,000 followers, I got 40 million views, why aren't people just throwing money at me? And it wasn't happening. People weren't throwing money at him and he couldn't figure out why. And he sat down and he did the expertise definition worksheet. Now, everybody said his definition, his expertise was social media. Clearly, Dawnna, it's social media. What idiot wouldn't know somebody who put 4,000, 6,000 videos on YouTube and have 40 million views and have 100,000 subscribers? How would you think, Dawnna, that his expertise is anything other than social media? You're a boneheaded idiot if you don't realize that his expertise is social media. Guess what, y'all? His expertise ain't social media. It's not. Dre's expertise, see, this is what we do in Biz on Fire. I'm gonna actually walk you through this. So most people would see that and they say that's his expertise. Okay, great. But putting videos on social media does not make you successful, because everybody watching this would be as successful as shit if all you had to do was go and throw up a video on social media. That is not if all you had to do was throw up 6,000 videos on social media, y'all would all change 1 minute of every one of your videos and you throw all those up there. Putting up videos on social media does not make you successful. There is an underlying thing that made Dre successful, a very specific underlying thing. So let's back it up. Dre came to my house and we used to meet once a week when he first wanted to start speaking. He was doing private coaching. And every Friday, like clockwork, he would bring a gallon bag of Twizzlers. Now you gotta know, the guy is in peak physical condition. He goes to the gym every morning like clockwork. He works out for hours a day like you would not believe. He pops up social media videos every single day. He told me one day, I'm not gonna eat Twizzlers anymore. He didn't bring his bag of Twizzlers. I said, what in the hell? He's like, I'm not eating Twizzlers anymore. And I'm like, dude, you've shown up here every week with Twizzlers like clockwork. And he goes, yeah, now I'm not gonna eat them anymore. So of course I'm like, that's bullshit. He's gonna eat Twizzlers. Next week came around, no Twizzlers. A month later, no Twizzlers. Now I'm like, he's eating Twizzlers before he gets here. I know he has a Twizzler addiction. So I go and I buy a giant ass bag of Twizzlers and I bring them over and I'm like, I know you want a Twizzler. I know you can't wait. I'm like a street corner Twizzler dealer in my own house. He looked at me, he didn't even pay attention to the damn Twizzlers. And I'm like, how are you doing that? I can't even stay off sugar for more than 24 hours. How are you completely staying off Twizzlers? And he goes, third day. I'm like, third day? He goes, yeah, I have a methodology called third day. I can do anything forever, but I have to use the third day. I just gotta, if I do the third day. And I'm like, wait, you got a methodology for this shit? He goes, yeah. So while most people and most coaches would sit down and they would look at Dre and they'd say, oh, your expertise is social media, I never told him that. His expertise is discipline. Discipline. And then before you think, well, who in the hell, first of all, who in the hell would come up with that? Well, I would, because we have an expertise definition worksheet. That's number one. Number two, if I look at his history, everything that he's been successful in his history had to do with a certain level of discipline. You might think, well, Dawnna, everybody has discipline. I don't. He has discipline on a level that I don't understand. But he also has a methodology. Here's the big, giant, ridiculous number three. Once he went through the expertise definition and we recognized what his underlying thing was that made him successful. See, this is where people mess up. People normally look at what your shell, your surface is, and they think, well, that's your expertise. That's bullshit. What you've been successful at is not your expertise. It is that underlying thing you do that makes you an expert. I want to know what that is. That's what we find. Once we find out what that thing is, then after that, we can identify your target market. So now you're like, okay, Dawnna, so his expertise is definition, is discipline. Who in the hell wants that? Well, his target market and his subscribers, he has over 100,000 subscribers. Not just on YouTube, but if I count all his social media platforms, he has probably close to 200. So when I look at those, I said, well, let's look at who's listening. Well, you know who's listening to Dre? Millennials. So when we look at, thank you, Michael. So when we look at millennials, so now millennials love him. I mean, they don't just like him. They drink the Dre Kool-Aid, love him. They do. So now we have a bunch of millennials that are listening to a guy who they connect with, and he has a level of discipline. I wonder who would buy an expert coming in to help them with millennials be more disciplined? Of course, corporations. The biggest gap right now that corporations complain about is not only the millennial generation, but Generation Z. and that they're having a hard time bridging the gap between where the corporations are in their expectations and discipline. Discipline affects everything: how you follow up, how you complete something, how you do your work. Dre has a methodology. He connects directly to them. He speaks their language. They see him, they know him, they respect him. He walks in and he speaks like them, he looks like them, but he has this little secret sauce of discipline. So he bridges the gap between the corporation and the millennials. You should ask him how his business is doing. Because once you know what your expertise is and you can identify your target market, it just works. And then we go from there. So that's what we do. We start you off with what is your expertise. The tuition is paid for because we set an expectation that you will make sales. We have a full month sales program within Biz on Fire. There is 1 month dedicated to entrepreneurial sales by one of the best salespeople for entrepreneurs in the country. So we have that included. So when I tell you that you get your demo video, you get your headshots, yes, your headshots, you go and stay at the $1 Million Mansion and we launch from the mansion. You get your website, you get your website copy. You actually go through a copy class so you know how to write good copy. Not that somebody's gonna write it for you, because when you first start out, you gotta wear some of these hats until you can pass them on. So you learn how to write good copy. You learn how to write great follow-up emails. You learn how to use your CRM properly. You learn how to reach out to your contacts and what to say. You learn how to find those contacts. And to graduate, you will have had to make more than your tuition in sales, and you have to have $100,000 worth of opportunities in your pipeline. That's to graduate. We get you there in 6 months. We don't play. And just in case you guys think, well, that's bullshit, who does that? Well, first of all, I do. And second of all, I'm living proof. I've done it 3 times and I'm doing it again. So let me explain something to you. If you are interested in Biz on Fire, we don't play. We even went and made sure that this is how serious we are. We give you an ability to make a lump sum down payment, small payments every month, and you don't make that last payment until you graduate. We give you a lump sum payment on the end, you don't pay until you graduate. That's how serious we are. We eat our own dog food, and we're not worried about you making that last payment. You know why? Because we're gonna make sure you make those sales. That's how we roll. Listen, if you are interested, if you wanna know more about it, if you are tired of struggling, if you're tired of the feast and famine roller coaster, if you're tired of people giving you nuggets of information and never getting you to the gold mine, because that's bullshit. If you're tired of the blank puzzle pieces and you don't know how to put the puzzle together, and if you finally want to have a turnkey business and be successful, start your way towards success.